Welcome, baseball family, to the Thursday Night Live episode of the Baseball Together podcast. I am Brad, and as you would expect, I'm joined by our guy Brig on my left. Good evening, Brig. How are you?
I'm okay. My internet's suffering, but everything will be just fine.
Things seem to be much smoother on your side of the screen right now. So
Yes, outstanding.
we'll see how it goes from here on
Yeah.
out. Anyway, playoff baseball. Been playoff baseball, Brig. Pretty crazy.
Well,
I was honestly, I'll be honest with you. I was a little concerned going into today, Thursday, that the Phillies and D-backs was just going to kind of fizzle out, and that was just going to kind of be how it was. And then we were just going to have to wait for the ALCS to wrap up. And I still don't see that thing going more than 6 games. But I was a little bit worried for how things were going to go. But suddenly, things are a little more interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very excited
interesting
about
on
it.
the ALCS side too, right?
Like very interesting.
It's very interesting. The whole thing has been awesome.
It is. But before we get too deep into that, baseball family, sports betting has rapidly risen in popularity, and we want to connect you with an opportunity to get started or get ahead. Having multiple sportsbook accounts is the simplest way to maximize your profits, and has never been a better time to sign up. When you visit our page, signupexpert.com/baseball, you'll be connected to all the sportsbooks in your region, state, wherever, along with a review of each platform and its unique benefits. All these sportsbooks have valuable sign-up offers for new users, and it's a great way to cash in early. And when you register through the Baseball Together link, you will automatically receive the top offer at each one. When you use multiple sportsbooks, you ensure that you can always access the best available odds, which is key to successful sports betting. I'm here to tell you that is the truth. If you want to take advantage of these benefits and support the show, sign up for your next sportsbook at signupexpert.com/baseball. As always, there is a link down in the episode description. Now, let's get into the ALCS, Brig. Let's start there.
Okay. Yep.
Because it's been a wild and crazy ride down in Texas.
I'm telling you.
It certainly has been the wild, wild west.
Yes.
The wickety wild west, for those of you who know, right?
Yes. Jump in the comments and tell us if you got that joke, baseball family. That one was the highest of quality.
Thank you. Anyway, so as it stands at this moment, the Rangers are leading this series 2-1. Okay. Game 1 was an interesting one, right? Like Jordan Montgomery went out there. The Rangers won 2-0, but Montgomery tossed a gem, 6 1/3, 5 hits, no runs, just 1 walk, and struck out 6. And a team that doesn't strike out very often, 6 strikeouts in 6 1/3 is quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a lot. I agree.
And then on the other side, you had Justin Verlander pitching for the Astros, and I thought it was crazy. It's just like, well, shoot, here you go. He pitches 6 2/3, gives up 2 runs. One was on a bloop, one was on a bomb. But that was the difference, right? Like,
yeah.
And sometimes that's all it takes. And
right,
I was shocked that the Rangers were able to just completely shut down the Astros in that first game, just entirely.
Couldn't believe it myself. I'm still shocked.
Well, this is the thing, though, is we weren't shocked for too long, though, right? Because we went to game 2. Yes, the Rangers won that one 5-4, but it was a little more interesting, I felt like. Right?
It was way more interesting. Yeah.
The Rangers jumped out on Framber Valdez early. He only lasted 2 2/3, gave up 5 runs, 4 of those earned because he himself had an error that ended up leading to a run. 7 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. It's so crazy. Like, man, the dude gave up 5 and pitched 2 2/3, but he still struck out 6.
Yeah.
If they weren't putting in play, if they weren't getting on base, they were striking out. So he kind of did what he's supposed to do. But the Rangers needed that early 4-0 cushion. They ended up winning, like I said, winning 5-4. The Rangers bullpen kind of reared the ugly side of its head, right, late in the game. And I was like, oh, shoot, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. They managed to hold on to the lead. But this is the thing that I think happened, Brig, and let me know if you think I'm out of line with this. I think what happened was the Rangers bullpen's inability to get outs and make it let the Astros be competitive kind of woke a sleeping giant. Let it kind of get out of bed and start moving in the right direction, because they say hitting is contagious. All it takes is a little bit of confidence going through that dugout, and then everybody starts hitting. And then we saw it in Game 3, right?
Right. That's exactly what we saw in Game 3. Houston came to play and just dominated. 8-5 was the final score, but that doesn't really do it justice, because I thought that the Houston Astros, not only offensively, even defensively, just really had their stuff together. They were not gonna lose Game 3. It felt like it was I don't know, there was just no chance. So they jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the second. That certainly helped. And they tacked on one more in the third and another in the fourth. Rangers scored in the fifth, and that cut the lead to only 3. But after that, dude, it was just bang, bang, blow by blow.
Mm-hmm.
Every time Texas did anything, Houston responded. And it was just, I mean,
Yeah, it
it was,
felt a little bit close there at 5-3. It was like, oh, or 5-2. It's kind of like, okay,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But then it was like 7-3. All right, 7-5.
yeah,
Well, maybe, but
yeah.
the 8-5. It felt like the difference was more than 3 runs.
It felt like 10-5 is what it felt
Yeah,
like
yeah, yep. It
to
did.
me.
Yeah, it sure did. I think you're right. So I don't know. I felt a lot less confident about my Texas pick after that game. I still feel like they can win it, right?
Right. Yeah,
Because as
I
of
do too.
this moment, a home team has not won a game in this series.
Right.
And the Astros are way better on the road than they are at home, which is mind-boggling.
It doesn't
And
make
maybe
sense,
it's
but
because of the batter's eye. I don't know.
it could
But
be.
right?
It could be that
It doesn't
batter's
seem to
eye
be a problem
problem.
for anybody else,
No,
but
no,
for
no.
them, for whatever
Yeah.
reason. I'm not sure.
I'm
But
not going to make those jokes, but yeah, I have jokes. You probably know the jokes I want to make, but I'm not going
yeah.
to.
Anyway, so I don't know. That's been a pretty wild series, seeing what's going on back and forth. Game 4 is going on at this very moment. If you're not watching or paying attention or are curious what the score is at this moment in the show, 3-2 Astros in the middle of the third. The Astros got 3 in the first, and the Rangers got 2 in the second. Off of a couple of hits, a homer from Garcia and a sac fly from Young. The Rangers, though, really had an opportunity, though. They had
Yeah,
one out with runners on second and third. They should have been able to capitalize on that and tie the game, but you know how it goes.
they should have. But what are you going to do, right?
Yeah,
So
yep. But
there's,
it
go ahead.
feels like it so far. It feels like a much closer game,
Yeah,
much
it
much more
does.
competitive than
More,
Game 3 was,
yes.
despite
And
3
that's
runs
what,
early for the Astros.
honestly, that's what we want, right?
Yeah,
Like, unless your team is involved, you just want to see competitive baseball. We just want it to be fun,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Exactly
And
right.
this game so far is fun. And we'll get into NLCS in a minute, because tonight's game was super fun. But before we do that, I got a couple of things I want to bring up. The first is that David Ortiz has gone and offered a nickname to Jordan Alvarez, who's been just killing it
That dude
for
doesn't even hit
Houston.
singles anymore.
No,
And he doesn't
it's
get out.
amazing.
That's the baffling thing, is he just gets extra base hits.
It's crazy. So David Ortiz, his bigness, or Big Poppy, I call him his bigness,
I
but Big
like his
Poppy,
bigness.
yeah, has nicknamed Jordan Alvarez Baby Poppy. And I just want to know, Brad, is this like some like glorified, nickname that's just this tremendous honor, or is this some sort of underhanded thing that puts Jordan Alvarez in his place, or is it somewhere in the middle where it's like, cute, you're good, and also I'm still the best?
I honestly think it's a pretty high compliment from Big Poppy to put his nickname on somebody else, because Dwight Howard got into the NBA. I don't know if you remember this whole thing or know about it, but Dwight Howard got in the NBA and he wanted to be called Superman.
Hmm,
Shaq is Superman.
correct.
right? So, and Shaq even told him, he's like, no big fella, I'm Superman. I think is how it went, right? But yeah, that was like this whole big thing. And I know Jordan Alvarez hasn't put this nickname on himself, but
Right.
I think it's a pretty big honor for somebody to put their nickname on him. Did you know there's actually a kid in the Mariners system they call Baby Jordan?
No way.
Yeah, he's faster and has a better arm, but he has just as much power
That's
and is
awesome.
an amazing hitter. So
That's
I'm
really
excited
cool.
for that kid to come up in a couple years.
Yeah. Here, baseball family, in case you didn't know, you're not allowed to assign yourself a nickname. Okay,
That's right.
let's just
Yeah.
that's a law. And I almost just let go of the editing we make very a priority on the show. It's a law. I feel very strongly about this. You cannot give yourself a nickname.
You're absolutely
Okay.
right. Yeah, no, it is absolutely a law. Like you should do time if you give yourself a nickname.
It's right. Social justice will come after you in the form of criticism and ostracization.
Hey, we have a tie game. Tie game in
way.
Arlington.
Yes. Oh, well, let's get on with this. Baseball family. I'm gonna yawn and then I'm gonna tell you about this. Oh man, sorry. It's been a day. All right, versus game. Let's talk about versus game because we are always asking you what you think about the topics that we bring up on the show. And now there's a quick and easy way to share your thoughts with us and participate in the conversation. We have partnered. Wow, we've partnered with Versus Game, which allows us to bring you games where you can make real money from participating in our polls and trivia and predictions, and not just ours, but other people's. So if you're on the winning side of a poll, or if you get a trivia question right or a prediction correct, then you can win real money and prizes. You can play for free, or you can purchase ticket bundles, which allows you to win more and win faster. And you can play against other listeners and versus game users as well. So the way you do that is you head over to btpod.onversus.com on your mobile browser and sign up and play our polls and games. Just a reminder, that's btpod.onversus.com. Come and sign up and play with us. And we have a couple of polls and opinions up right now. So one of
We
them
got
is
who you got. Who
who
you
you
got
got?
in the NLCS? Who you got in the ALCS? Then there's a
That's
few
right.
more up there. We got a bunch.
Yep.
Go play the polls and have a good time.
It's fun.
Play some games, win some prizes. Good time.
You're on a roll. You're on a roll.
That is an old joke between a
Right.
friend and I from like 20 years ago almost.
Yeah, well, you whipped out a Shaq impersonation as well, so
Right.
you might be living 20 years ago, Brad. That's maybe where you're at tonight.
It seems like, yeah. First there's Wild Wild West. Oh
Yeah.
my
Oh
gosh,
man,
Greg. You're throwing this thing back to the early 2000s.
that was so good, dude.
Anyway. All right, let's talk about the NLCS. So
Okay.
the Phillies, after today's game, the Phillies lead this series 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
And up until today, Brig, it was 100% Phillies.
Steamroller.
Big time. Like the 5-3 game one, didn't even like you said, the other one seemed like 10-5. This might as well have been 15-3 instead of 5-3.
And part of that is because the D-backs did not record a run until the 6th inning. They got shut out until the 6th inning. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's trouble. And the other thing that's trouble is when you're giving up a bomb to Kyle Schwarber on the very first pitch he sees, and then 2 batters later, Brother Harper is going yard on his birthday, hitting his birthday dinger, right?
That's right.
It was 6 pitches, something like that, and they're down 2-0.
And Zach Wheeler tossed a gem. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits is all, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. So there's your 6 innings, and then he gave up a couple of those runs, and they pulled him. But that's 8 strikeouts across 6 innings against a playoff opponent. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and was it Wheeler or was it Ranger? No, it wasn't Ranger Suarez. Was it maybe Ranger Suarez who had no hit the D-backs through 5 or 6?
Yeah. Let me look. I think was that game 2.
I think it was game 2. I think you're right. Yeah, because game 2 was competitive, not even a little bit. Like
No.
game 2 was bad news bears for the Diamondbacks. That one was a final of 10-0,
Yeah.
and 8 of those runs came in the 6th and 7th inning. They scored 4 in the 6th and 4 in the 7th. So,
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. It was Aaron Nola who,
That's right.
you
It
know,
was Nola.
threw like 5, I believe, because he threw 6. But anyway,
Yeah, I got it right here. Nola's
yeah,
line is 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 7 Ks. That
yeah.
was they just got blanked. And then they Hoffman took over, pitched for an inning, 2 strikeouts, no earned runs, no walks, no hits. Then Matt Stram comes up, 1 inning pitched, no hits, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Dude. And then
Well, and
Kirkering gave
so
up a
here's the
little bit.
thing, though. This is the thing that's crazy to me is that Merrill Kelly, yeah, he gave up 4 runs, but only 2 of those scored while he was in the game. He went
Yeah.
5 2/3, and through 5, he had only given up 2 runs, and it
Yeah.
was he had also through that point only given up 2 hits.
Yes.
It was a home run in the first and a home run in the third, and so I was kind of like, man, like Merrill Kelly is dealing. He made 2 mistakes, paid for him because you got one of the hottest offensive teams in history right now at the plate
Yeah,
at home,
fact.
right?
Yeah, right.
Like that's really what that comes down to is that the Phillies through game 2 were seeing the baseball at beach ball size proportions
That's
and
right.
could not miss it. And we saw that with hanging up 4 in 2 innings late in that game.
Yeah,
And against the Diamondbacks bullpen that has been a problem all year long.
yeah.
So
So Kyle Schwarber homered twice, Trey Turner homered once in that ball game. And then we have 3 runs. So Schwarber earned 3 of the runs, which is crazy. Turner 2 runs, Harper 1, Baum 1, Stott earned 1, Real Muto earned 1. That's a pretty good spread. It's
yeah,
not just on the backs of 1 or 2 guys in game 2, which is
right.
great.
Yeah, it was spread all around with them, and yeah, like I said, hitting is contagious, and it certainly was in game 2. Game 3 was a little different.
Yeah, in game 2 everyone was A-OK. And now
Yes,
game I've been waiting to say that. game 3
was a different story. Game 3 is a
I
different
wrote that
story
joke like at
today.
8 a.m., okay?
So this is the thing that's funny, Brig, is that game 3 today, tickets were dirt stinking cheap. I got on
Dude,
SeatGeek yesterday, and
yeah.
I found some for $8. And I was like,
Yeah. Okay,
too
you
bad.
know what's
It's
funny?
because of everybody else like me who has to work and can't
Yeah.
go.
To a 2 p.m. game. It's 2
Yeah.
p.m. local time.
Mhm.
And I read a report that a bunch of the Phillies fans caught wind in Philly that the tickets were so cheap, they just started buying up as many seats as they could
Yeah.
to make it so nobody local could show up.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
that is some serious involvement from a fan base.
They really yeah. That is yeah.
That's
I
beer
read that.
league
I couldn't
level.
believe it. I was like, but it makes sense though. I mean, like, if it meant that my team was gonna win because there was less of a home crowd, I would spend $10 on a ticket, right?
Dude.
Like
Yeah,
NLC in the championship series, you bet. That's a
totally.
super duh. But it didn't seem to work that well because Brandon Fott, who has struggled this year, had a couple stints down in AAA in Reno.
Yeah.
When the Mariners were in town, I watched him pitch against the Mariners, and at that point, he was like 1-6 with like a 7 ERA, and I was like, "Oh, mow him down." Not the case.
Mm.
He shut the Mariners down that day, just like he shut the Phillies down today through 5 2/3, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts.
9.
9 times, Brig,
Oh man,
they struck
9.
out through 5 2/3.
Crazy.
That is outstanding. Like, just watching that game, watching him deal, he was hitting the corners, just absolutely painting them, and the thing that was funny was eventually he stopped getting them. Just all of a sudden, the
Yeah,
umpire stopped calling corners for both teams, and it was just like
that's right. The zone moved for sure.
Yeah, like you saw Real Muto at one point. He caught a ball in the corner and he kind of went to move like he's going to stand up for strike
Yeah.
3, but it wasn't
Me-
called and he
Uh,
looked back.
yeah, he kind of went like, "Are you kidding me, dude?"
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I would be
I
too.
the whole crowd did. The whole crowd was like, "Oh,
Oh,
okay."
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But here's
It
the
was
thing: even though Fott struck out 9, Ranger Suarez struck out 7. He went 5 and a third, 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks on the other side. That's why the game was so nuts, man. Because
yeah.
there were no runs until the 7th inning, and then
Mhm.
they tied it up at 1 apiece in the 7th.
Yeah. Let's talk about the ninth inning though, because that
Yeah,
was absolutely bonkers the way that one ended up playing
crazy.
out. Because I assumed with Kimbrel going in there, like this is the thing with Kimbrel, is that I don't want to say that I assume that he's going to get the job done because you can't assume that with him anymore, right?
No, but
Like,
70 or so percent of the time,
yeah,
you
I was
can.
going to say 70 to 80. I would even say 80% of the time he's good to
Yeah,
go, right?
yeah.
But you know that there is the chance of that 20 to 30% could be any time. And today was one of those times. So
Dude laid an egg tonight.
he absolutely did. Yeah. Lourdes Gurriel led off. I can't remember, did he walk? I think he walked.
I think it was a leadoff walk. Yeah.
And then he stole second. That shocked me in and of itself right
Dude.
there.
It
Like,
was, the Real Muto could have had him. They were like, "Look at the jump he got." I'm like, "Yeah, but that dude moves like molasses, man." It was,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
as fast as he's gone, and since he was in college or whatever, little league.
So this is the crazy thing though, is that the Diamondbacks were second in the National League in stolen bases. 160, they stole 166 bases. The Reds were ahead of them with 190. I think Ellie De La Cruz stole like 150 of those. But
Yeah, right.
anyway, the Diamondbacks have not been running.
Not
And
at
then
all.
finally they get late in the game here in the opportunity and they send the slowest guy, one of the slowest guys on the team
Yeah,
to
I
steal a
think that
base.
was
It's
an
just like,
that was a cost benefit analysis because against Craig Kimbrell, you can run, but you do have to be careful with Real Muto behind the plate. So what was interesting to me is the guy at the plate had to swing. It doesn't matter where the ball is; he has to
and
swing
maybe it was a
for
hit and
that to
run.
work.
Because
Yeah, it's the
where
only way.
I was watching from the dinner table, and so like if this is the screen, I could only see like right here. I couldn't see like the right third of the screen,
Yeah.
and so so I didn't see what happened to the plate. I just saw that he stole the base, and food fell out of my mouth. I was shocked.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it was a swinging steal. The
It
dude,
was probably a hit and run where he swung and missed.
yeah, he swung and missed for sure, but
Yeah,
it was the necessity that he swung.
yeah,
Otherwise, Real Muto would have thrown him out, no problem.
yeah. But so then Gurriel gets up or gets to second, and
Mhm.
then Pavin, it was Pavin Smith who was up. So he hits a single, runners on the corners. Smith takes second, defensive indifference, doesn't make it. No reason to try to make that throw,
No,
right? None whatsoever. And then
but
this
it
was
took
the
away the
one that
double play.
it did take away the double play, but at that point there was nobody out, so it didn't matter. They're
Right,
not going to go for
that's
the
true.
double play anyway. They're going to try to cut that
Right.
run down at home. But so this was the thing that got me. The ball, the shortstop. Was Gurriel running on contact? Like, was he supposed to be running on contact? Because if he
Yeah.
was,
Who knows?
Pavin Smith should have been standing on third instead of the dude standing on second base still. Like,
Yeah, because Gurriel didn't do anything.
no, and he that was a recess play. That was a recess
Yeah.
play at the plate. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yes.
He
The
slid
little
around and
like
then tried
spin
again.
move and then
Yeah, yeah,
I was
that.
like, wow, that's great. I couldn't believe that he got around Real Muto the first time. That was
Oh, I
I was
know.
like, whoa.
I assumed that he had got him on that first go, but then
Yeah.
when they showed the replay, I was like, man, he missed him by like 6 inches.
Yeah, he did. It was a pretty good. I just couldn't
It's a
believe it
good
was so it was
slide.
athletic. It was an athletic move. But then
Yeah.
it was too athletic because he just has so much momentum that
Oh,
had he been moving slower, he might have gotten away with it.
he was moving at regular speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow he got a little bit extra burst. But no, that was the thing that like blew my mind though, is that like if I'm the third base coach, I'm looking at second base and be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You saw him go.
Yeah.
He's either out or he's safe. Either way, you need to be here.
Yeah.
Because if he's safe, the game's over. If he's out, we need you scoring on the next play.
Third. Yeah.
And so, and then after that, I think it was Perdomo drew a walk, bases loaded, and then Ketel Marte, who had already had 2 doubles in the game, came through with a line drive to center field.
Yeah.
Game over.
He blooped it into right center. It was awesome.
And we've got ourselves a series.
We really do. So if they can show up again tomorrow, then it'll be really interesting. And I think we both predicted 6. I think we both predicted Philly 6, didn't we?
I was thinking Philly in 5, honestly.
5. Okay.
Yeah. Well, because
I think I called 6, but
and so this is the thing that's really interesting about playing in Phoenix, is that when the roof is closed, fly balls die.
They die.
Like you can see them. Like I sat out in the outfield this last year at a game, and you could see it. It looked like the ball was coming. Then it almost looks like it hits a wall, and I think it has to do with the AC.
Yeah.
You know, blowing down. That the ball kind of goes and then it changes trajectory and just kind of dies out there right in front of the warning track. And so you've really got to get a hold of one to get it out. Like Marte, probably if the roof was open, would have had a homer earlier in the game instead of a double. I think there were a couple that probably would have at least hit the wall and been doubles earlier instead of falling short of the track.
Yeah. There was one that hit the wall that should have been a bomb, but it hit the padding and it was just missed by the center fielder. And that one should have been gone.
Yeah. So it's interesting the difference. Like the ball is certainly flying in Philly, was not flying in Phoenix for the Phillies tonight. And I'm curious if they're going to have the roof closed tomorrow, because since it's a night game, it's not going to be 100 plus by the time the game starts, and the sun will be going down pretty soon after. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Well, let's give everybody an update on when they can watch the next games of the series. Game 5 against the Astros and the Rangers is going to be in Arlington tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Game 4, Chase Field in Arizona between Philly and the Diamondbacks, 8 p.m. tomorrow. Game 5 is Saturday at 8 p.m. in the NLCS, and that's a travel day for the ALCS, and they'll go back to Texas.
Back to Houston.
Or Houston. Yeah, I guess they're both in Texas. They'll go back to Houston. And then that Sunday's a travel day in LCS, and Monday they'll be back in Philly. So that should bring us current. The series end, Game 7, if necessary, for the ALCS is on Monday, and Game 7, if necessary, for the NLCS is Tuesday. So there you have it.
There you go. Baseball family, thanks.
The World Series.
The World Series. But baseball family, thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday Night Live episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review wherever you can, especially on the YouTube machine. Thank you. We will catch you next week.